I've written new conspiracy law. When I woke up this morning, I had a brain-to-brain conversation with Brent Spiner and Zach Knight. And I said, why is this case with Lori dragging on? And I said, why have I not received my Seroquel yet? And Brent said, well, Lori's trying to take my MD license from me so that I'm unable to prescribe medications. I said, that's outrageous. I said, how could she do that? She's claiming I'm a rapist and that I raped her and that I am not willing to support the children as the result of produced as the result of this rape, and therefore I should be denied my license to practice medicine. I said, this is outrageous. She used brain control on him. Of course, the last time with Angelina Ballerina, she threatened to kill me if he wouldn't have sex by launching the Sarakaki on my town, Melbourne, Florida. That'll all be in my next book. Anyways, this is ridiculous. Lori McBride is guilty beyond any doubt. She deserves the death penalty, and the reason she hasn't gotten it is because she keeps bringing up all these stupid, irrelevant cases in court that have nothing to do with the real issues. So I've written some, and I said, well, Zach Knight, why can't you just go after her and execute her? Why do we have to fight her in court? He says, well, she's claiming that I'm an abuser and that she's using self-defense by dropping bombs on you and the world because she claims that I am against her unfairly, like Zach is anti-woman and all this other crap. I said, this is crazy. So anyways, she's going around killing people and blaming it on Zach, saying she has to do this to defend herself on Zach, though she's killing people that have nothing to do with Zach. So here's new law that I've written to deal with this garbage and get it taken care of. Let's see here. Okay, it's right here. Okay, I have it right here. Convicted brain control war criminals must be denied due process. It's death penalty to give a convicted brain control war criminal due process. Okay. I have the law in writing. Basically, this is the way the law works. Lori, if your goal is self-defense, why are you so obsessed with brain control in all you do? These bombs you're dropping worldwide using yeast with strong brain control capabilities. I mean, until you remove the brain control aspects of your bombs, you cannot claim self-defense. The mere fact that you use brain control contaminates your arguments, and we can rightly accuse you of evidence tampering. This is because we use mind, emotion, and memory reads as evidence in the courtroom. But if the brain's contaminated with brain control, then this invalidates the evidence. In essence, until you stop your brain control, you are guilty of evidence tampering. Next, Lori, if you don't stop your evidence tampering, we're going to do a brain and motivation read on you to determine why you insist on using brain control on everything you do. If our reads determine that you are a criminal and you have the heart of a rapist and murderer, and you use brain control in order to contaminate the evidence, you must be executed. If you claim that we have tampered with the evidence and that our evidence is contaminated, we can reply that we have not tampered with the evidence, but you have. We do not use brain control, and you do. And if you were truly innocent, you would stop all use of brain control right now. This is within your power. And if you refuse to stop using brain control on people, you are guilty merely for using brain control. If you were truly innocent, you wouldn't use brain control at all. Now, if you claim that we use brain control, it's a death penalty violation of conspiracy law to use brain control, so we don't use it. But it's obvious you do. In fact, we can prove you use brain control in just about everything you do. If you were truly innocent, why do you feel the need to use brain control all the time? Brain control is defined as the use of technology or mind-altering drugs to alter a person's brain to cause them to behave in a way that they would not behave without the effect of what has altered their brain, and this alteration also violates their true persona. Their true persona being who they really are without the interference of control over their brain from an outside source or a source outside of their body, and this control alters the brain, causing the person to behave in a manner making them dangerous to themselves or others. In all cases involving the use of brain control, murder and rape happen, either directly or indirectly, as a result of that brain control. So this is a very serious crime. Lori may say, but when Brent made love to me while captive on Angelina Ballerina's spaceship, there was no brain control involved. Yes, no brain control, but definitely extortion. I mean, she threatened to launch the Sarah Cocky if Brent wouldn't make love to Lori McBride like he really loved her and everything. That'll be in my next book, Bible for Tribulation Saints. It's also up at my Patreon page. As Jesus has said, Brent has never wanted Lori McBride. This was Angelina, not Lori McBride, when Brent did willingly go to her. I'm not willingly, knowingly go to her. He went to her under extortion. He didn't want her. He had to fake like he wanted her to keep me from being bombed with the Sarah Cocky. So this was Angelina. This happened when Angelina was alive. Okay, we're not going to go around in circles arguing with Lori. She can come up with defenses for everything as long as we don't get down to the core issue, which is Lori's use of brain control. Lori McBride, if you are truly innocent, stop all use of brain control right now. It's obvious you use brain control to tamper with the evidence. If you're truly innocent, you wouldn't have to tamper with the evidence. It's time to put you on the defensive. You use your Jew clone lawyers to put us on the defensive, and this tactic works because a clever lawyer can come up with all sorts of crap as long as we don't get down to the core issue, which is Lori's use of brain control. All use of brain control must stop. The way to determine innocence or guilt is by who feels the need to use brain control from this point on. So both sides must stop all use of brain control right now. The first side that willingly and knowingly uses brain control is the guilty party. The guilty party defined as the one who commits murder, rape, terrorism against innocence, defamation, slander, libel, lying, evidence tampering, and is guilty of the murder of millions, and not for self-defense, but as an aggressor against innocence. Once we determine who's the guilty party, that person gets the death penalty. Case over. No more case. The guilty party will be executed, including all those who willingly and knowingly give the guilty party support. Once the guilty party is deemed guilty of using brain control as defined by this document, their appeals to continue the case are over. The mere fact that they use brain control is proof beyond a doubt that they are the guilty party in terms of murder, and they must die. To continue the case after it's determined they are mass murderers would be to only give them more time to do more murders. This is a grave injustice and will not be tolerated. That would be like putting a despot on the stand to defend himself after he committed his mass murders of innocents. Lori's claiming self-defense as her motive for bombing me. I'm coughing because of the bombs right now and the world. But if your motive is self-defense, why must you use brain control in these bombs, Lori? Sure doesn't sound like self-defense to me. It sounds more like you're a psychopath or sociopath who likes to manipulate your victims to tamper with the evidence that makes you obviously guilty. Therefore, the one who uses brain control is the guilty party. We're going to drop all other arguments. That just takes us round and round in circles. The crux of the matter is, who is using the brain control? That is obviously the party that has something evil to hide, or else why would they want to control the brains of those they attack? Also, Lori, if you claim that Brent came to you and made love to you of his own free will, then why did you feel the need to use brain control on him as your lover? Drop all the other arguments. It's a waste of time and valuable resources. All the arguments in court should be centered around this one thing. Who is the party that uses the brain control? That is the guilty party. If Lori was truly innocent, she would not resort to brain control and would feel no need to use it. While it's true that Zach Knight has used brain control in the past, Zach has come clean, and he no longer uses brain control. So the party that uses brain control now is the guilty party and is the one who needs to be executed. Once we determine who uses the brain control, then we know who to execute. The sentence for the guilty party is that they are guilty of terrorism, rape, mass murder, extortion, war crimes, using brain control as part of their strategy, which is more than enough to justify the death penalty. Once the sentence is laid down in a conspiracy law court, all appeals must be dropped, and the focus must be on executing the guilty party. To allow appeals to continue when the guilty party is guilty beyond any doubt is to allow the murderer to go on murdering. This must not be tolerated. Case over. Furthermore, once it's determined in a court of law under conspiracy law that any party is part of a conspiracy that willingly and knowingly uses brain control as part of their attacks on innocents, and they are therefore guilty of war crimes involving brain control, that party will be deemed a brain control war criminal and must be denied due process. Wow, she's using brain control on me right now. And the matter will be handed over to the military from now on. Their only appeal can be in regard to whether or not they use brain control. All other matters cannot be brought up for appeal. We will not allow these clever criminals to delay their execution by allowing them to bring in legal cases of irrelevant matters to delay their execution in order to give them more time to commit crimes. They are just buying time for themselves, hoping they can kill off their enemy while doing so. In fact, any willing and knowing attempt or action to allow any brain-controlled war criminal due process, that means the rights to a legal hearing or trial, will bring the death penalty as a Jesuit conspirator, and that's an evil Jesuit who opposes me and my men, to that litigator. This is because this is an attempt to allow the murderer to go on murdering. Being a brain-controlled war criminal is such a serious offense that all other crimes pale in comparison. Once it is determined in a conspiracy law honoring court of law that any party is guilty of being a brain-controlled war criminal, all other legal arguments do not matter. We have enough evidence to know that this person and all those who helped them deserve to be executed at once. Any willing and knowing attempt or action to allow a brain-controlled criminal to continue their crimes, whether by trying to extend their trial after they've been convicted of being a brain-controlled war criminal or by any other means, will bring the death penalty as a Jesuit conspirator to that violator. A Jesuit conspirator under conspiracy law is defined as one who willingly and knowingly supports any brain-controlled war criminal or would willingly and knowingly support Angelina Ballerina, former Antichrist and Jesuit leader in place of Zach Knight, if Angelina was still alive. Okay, so it's ridiculous. We defeated Angelina Ballerina on January the 6th, 2017. And I'm asking my men, what is going on? Why is Lori out there still dropping bombs all over the world, using brain control on people, and claiming that she and Brent Spiner had a legit marriage where Brent married her of his own free will and knowledge. Actually, she's married to the clone. The Brent Spiner clone has taken over Brent's Twitter and basically ruined it. All his comments there are just totally idiotic. Brent is an intelligent, deep man. This clone is shallow, and he supports Lori McBride. And that son, Jackson Spiner, that they're putting up online, that boy was conceived by artificial insemination. What Lori did was she took semen from her brain rape of Brent in September 1992, used that to impregnate herself, and that's how that boy came into being. And she's using that child as a weapon against Brent and me to claim that Brent raped her, and she's been nice about the rape and decided to marry her rapist. Actually, she raped him using brain rape. Anyways, she's claiming her women's rights are violated, that Zach's against fat women and Zach's prejudiced against transgender and gays and all this other crap, and she's just bringing up one thing after another, saying her rights as a woman have been violated. Hey, if you are a brain control mass murderer, you have no rights. The only right you have is to be executed. And that's the right we need to mete out to Lori McBride.